Hey guys, how's it going tonight? We got a special show. It's going to be pretty short and sweet. Probably keep it to 20 minutes, a half hour tonight. But we got a special guest coming on, and I'm pretty excited to hear what he's going to say. We got some questions for him. We'll just let some people get on here. And just as you're getting on here, let me know where you're watching from. Hope everybody's having a good Sunday. We had a really good Freedom Day in Campbell River yesterday as the convoys were here. And Harry is going to be joining us in just 2 or 3 minutes here. And since it was a special occasion, Harry and I are having a drinky poo together here. Harry and I have not seen each other in 6 years. So just while we're waiting for Harry here, we'll see who's here. Gina watching from Gimli, Manitoba. Rachel from Timmins, Ontario. How are you guys doing? So Harry and I, we met 13 years ago in Alberta. I went to work in the oil field when I was 18, and Harry was one of the first guys I met in Alberta. And he's about 10 years older than I am. He kind of took me right under his wing. We became friends right away. We were in camp together, and Harry told me his story right off the bat, and obviously I wasn't the person I am today. I didn't question things quite as much. I wasn't nearly as involved in politics, but I found his story very interesting. I just never took it upon myself to think anything like that would happen here in Canada, but here we are. And we've talked about bringing Harry on here for a little while, and with the European politicians speaking out this week and a lot more happening in the media, I thought it would be a good time for us to hear from somebody who was raised there and grew up through tyranny, and somebody who's not ashamed to tell their story. And Harry's a very proud Canadian. I've known Harry for a long time. We went to the World Juniors together and watched Team Canada in Edmonton a while back. I believe that was in like 2012 or something like that. But Denise, how are you doing? Randy, Kirkland Lake, how you guys doing? We're just giving Harry a couple minutes here. He wanted to make himself a tea. He rushed in here. He was on a hot date earlier with his girlfriend, but he wanted to make some time for us. We've been trying to line up a time, and both our schedules have been kind of colliding. So we're pretty happy to finally be doing this here today. Yeah, Rachel. Up until COVID, I always knew there was some corrupt stuff going on, but I never took it upon myself to dive into it or really think that it was as bad as it was here at home. I knew we could have been a lot better as a country. I don't know. I never understood why we never used our natural resources to our advantage and things along those lines. But I never really questioned it until it affected my life. But I'm hooked now. We're addicted now. Bear Frey, how you doing, brother? Timmins, Ontario. So I don't know if you guys saw Doreen. How are you? Watching from Florida. Thanks for joining us. So I'm going to have an interview with Rebel News tomorrow. So pretty excited about that. I also spoke to Fox News today, which was pretty cool. So we are going to speak to them again tomorrow. But yeah, it was a pretty cool day for me. I got to talk to Tucker Carlson's producer. So anybody who knows me knows how much I love Tucker Carlson. I didn't even realize it was his producer. I was like, what department for Fox do you work for? And he was like, I'm Tucker Carlson's producer. And I was like, what? So pretty big day for me. Pretty awesome. Yeah, the bikers are going April 29th, Sue. That is correct. I just missed a couple people there. Ashley, Brandon, Manitoba, Joanne from Maine. Joanne, you're not too far from where I'm from originally. I'm from St. John, New Brunswick. Tony from St. John. How you doing, Tony? Shelly from Comox, right up our alley here. We're just next door. Yeah, the bikers are going the 29th, 30th. I will be there. I will be there to cover it. I'll probably be there sooner than then, but I will be there to cover the Rolling Thunder. I'm pretty excited about that. Mikey Petapa, how you doing, brother? So we've got Harry here with us, guys. I'm going to bring him on screen. You give me the thumbs up if you're ready there, Harry. He's ready. Okay. So bear with me. I'm still learning this stuff here, guys. Here we go. There he is. Harry, how you doing?
Good evening, Jeremy.
How's your
I'm
night
doing
going,
pretty
buddy?
good.
That's good. That's good.
Oh,
I'm glad you're joining us here tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
What's the weather like in Edmonton there today?
Well, today, 2 days ago, we had a blizzard. Today, it's melting, but it's still, it's Alberta. You never know what you get here.
Yeah, that's right.
3 days ago, we had 20 degrees.
Really? Well, that's a nice
3
little
days
break
ago.
for a day at least.
So, yeah.
So,
But
Harry,
I
why
can't
don't you
complain.
just
Spring is a bit
start
earlier,
by
at
telling
least.
us a little. Yeah,
Well,
spring's coming. It's coming. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Harry? Where are you from? What do you do? Who is Harry?
I am Harry Djedovic. I come from former Yugoslavia, country of Serbia. I was born in Kosovo. And I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with Kosovo and what happened with Kosovo in the last 20 years. And I'm basically a mix of two different ethnicities that are from former Yugoslavia. And during that conflict, then everything got separated and everybody chose sides. And it was my childhood, and I got to witness it as a child. So it was not pleasant to begin with, but you learn to live with it.
So yeah, it must have been really rough growing up in Harry. I remember stories you used to tell me, and it made me think, but like, as we're living in these times now here in Canada, it's I definitely wish I had paid more attention when you told me this stuff a long time ago. But I can't imagine having to grow up in that. It must have been...
The inflation that we're currently experiencing, it's a scary part. I remember I was like 5 or 6 years old, just first grade in school. And I remember my parents working for the whole month, just so at the end of the month, the salary that they had made, it was useless. You couldn't buy even a pack of beer. You couldn't get some bread or eggs. It was bare to nothing, absolutely nothing. It was worthless. And trying to live with that, what a challenge.
I can imagine. I just watched a video the other day. It was a guy from Cuba, and he was speaking of the same thing. He said they used to when they implemented certain things, they would get like $5 a month, but the prices of things didn't reflect what they were getting. So they would literally go buy 3 loaves of bread with their $5. And I'm sure that's pretty relatable to what you're talking about, yeah?
Well, it started like this. Basically, as a kid, you were born into Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia had a good standard, similar to what we had enjoyed here for the longest time, peace and prosperity. Everybody was career-oriented, family-oriented. And then when stuff happened and the war happened in Croatia and Bosnia, the whole Yugoslavia got separated. And then all of a sudden, your good life got shattered. Inflation came in. Money was worthless. And I remember as a kid, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, waking up super early, like 5 a.m., trying to go into the bakeries and grocery stores, get in a line because my parents couldn't, with these coupons that we were given. And each family, depending on how many kids you had, were entitled to so much per week. And we being kids and our parents working had no choice but to work, and we had to kind of like take over and grow up before our time.
Right. You see a lot of those same resemblances happening here, Harry?
Well, here what we are dealing with right now, first it started with psychological, and then it just moving towards the inflation, and then started with our rights and freedoms being taken away with one signage, one bylaw, one law at a time. And till we got to this point now where even people who were like not trying to think for themselves because they relied on careers in government for so long, now they're on the fence because our livelihoods are at stake. We can't even think or comment for free
Right.
anymore without being reprimanded. I just got out of another 30-day jail.
Did you? Well, yeah, and
So
so that's social media. But right now, there's a bill in the House of Commons, and they're basically whatever the government deems as not real news, they're going to get rid of, and that's pretty
it's a
scary, is it not?
dangerous. I want to say this whole thing, what's going on with our Health Act, the Bill C-10, with C-35, everything that they're introducing, it's just control to a
Right,
point where we can't even think for ourselves anymore. The
right,
moment we're starting to get just one side of the news, people should start thinking,
right,
what's going on
right,
here? Where's the big picture here?
right. Well, do you remember when I reached out at the start of the pandemic? And because I saw it right away, you don't quarantine healthy people, and they were just so prepared with their marketing and like a pandemic. And I reached out to Harry and I said, "Is something bigger going on here?" He's, "Oh, I think so."
Man, I
But yeah,
remember
it's
when
just
this started 2 years ago in March. I was working night shift. I was a safety consultant on a drilling project here just outside Fort Saskatchewan. And I'll never forget when the announcement came. But the way it came, it was relentless, never ending, non-stop. And yeah, I knew it instantly. There was something's fishy about this. The moment they were
yeah,
trying to separate us, and you know the rest, what happened.
right,
We've been into it for 2 years. At least in Alberta now, masks are optional majority of places.
right, right. Yeah, I think every province has the mask mandate gone. I'm not positive, but BC still has the Vax Pass in. Do they still have that in Alberta?
Majority of places do,
Yeah, yeah. So
but
they left the option.
they scrapped it, but they gave an option to private entities
Right,
to
right.
enforce it.
Yeah,
So to not take responsibility,
absolutely. And I actually saw an article the other day. Um, there was a company that had made vaccine restrictions, and then the provincial government was being questioned on it, and they're like, "Well, we didn't make them do it. Each company implemented their own procedure," and you can already see the government's trying to weasel their way out of the accusation. And it's just, I saw it from the get-go, and I'm glad we weren't alone. I was glad I had people like you in my life to talk to about it.
I I went
What do
back to the
you
oil field.
what are your thoughts about what's going on in Ukraine right now, Harry?
Oh, what's going on, or what do you think?
Oh, did we
What's
lose him?
going
Are you
on
still there,
in
Harry?
North America? I'm here. Can you hear me, Jeremy? Hello. What's going on?
Well, what do you think there's a tie to the Ukraine and what's going on here? Do you think there's a bigger plan at stake at the on the table here,
Jeremy, can you hear me?
like United Nations wise and whatnot?
Can you can you hear
Am I
me?
losing you?
I don't know. I'm having a hard time hearing you
Yeah,
right
I can
now.
hear you. Can you hear me,
Oh,
Harry?
yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
so first question. Um, what's going on in Ukraine? Ukraine, there's been a conflict going on for the last 8 years. Ukraine is a multicultural, similar to what in Yugoslavia happened,
Okay.
where you have multiculturalism going on. There's quite a majority of Russian population in Ukraine. And Lugansk and Donetsk region has had conflict for the last 7 years.
Okay.
And they had a Minsk agreement that would cease the fire and leave that conflict alone, but Ukrainian forces were supported by neo-Nazis have kept and slaughtered the civilians in those two regions ongoingly for the last 7 years. And those regions were constantly fighting until Russia recognized those two regions as independent states. And the only reason I think Russia has gone into it is just to prevent ongoing manslaughter of civilians.
So would you say they're trying to liberate Ukraine in a way?
They are trying to liberate the people from tyranny.
Yes. Right.
But in the West, we hear the opposite story. We hear that Russia is the aggressor.
Right. Yeah, because what we saw, not on the mainstream, but when we did our research, those first few days, we were learning that Putin was just bombing these U.S. biolabs and these heavy military forces along the Black Sea and along where Crimea was, along the border there. And he wasn't really going for the civilians at the get-go. I like to believe that even though I don't agree with the way Putin governs his country, I don't think that Putin is over there attacking civilians.
We are not there to exactly say what's actually going on, but I am following news outlets that are banned thanks to VPN, because right now in this country we can't even Google certain things. I don't know if you tried to download a movie lately or no. You can't do anything. So, even our liberties in the net world, it's limited.
Right.
So unless you get a VPN and you go, what's actually happening? Russian forces are giving passages and free announcements and free civilians to pass, and whatever soldiers they capture from Ukrainian side, they're letting them drop the weapons and they take them peacefully, while Ukrainians are killing Russian soldiers right on the go. I saw some videos today how they're treating this is not humane.
Yeah.
And West doesn't see that. West doesn't see it. Ukrainian forces are killing old, young, and slaughtering Russian population in Ukraine, and nobody bats an eye.
Yeah.
So it's a lot going on at the same time.
Yeah, it's hard. You can't really just say you pick a side. Like I've said, I stand with Russia, but I don't stand with everything Russia does. But in this one circumstance, I've seen footage, not on the mainstream media, banned footage of what both sides are doing to the other side, and one side is being humane and the other is not, like you said.
Yeah. And it's sad considering we're in 2022. Mm-hmm. And when you see what humans are doing to each other, it's almost mind-blowing to how disgraceful and pathetic humans become, and barbaric to one another.
It makes you wonder how we got here.
Remember this, and I've seen it with my own eyes. Whenever your livelihood is compromised and your career jeopardized and you have no means of survival, your instinct kicks in and you adapt very quick.
That's right.
So that's what's happened. Whenever famine and poverty kicks in, inflation rises, people become savages.
Yeah. I think it's coming pretty quick too. With the inflation the way it is, I touched on it last week in my live. I was reading on Forbes. They said that if the diesel and fertilizer stays where it is, within a month, 20% of North American farmers will be bankrupt, and that'll be more big investment companies, Bill Gates buying them up. They're about to control the food, and they already control our health. They
already tried to do it in India.
We see that
last year. Yeah,
and they're about to control the food. Yeah.
In recent history, ancient times, seeds were preserved.
What
you can read.
What do you think our way of this is, Harry?
Say that again. You got cut out, Jeremy. Can you repeat that again?
Oh, sorry. Continue with what you were saying there, Harry. About
I was just saying, in regards to farmers and seeds, seeds are like very important when it comes to survival of humanity. In old days, I remember my grandma, she would save all her extra fruit or veggies, preserve the seeds, and reuse them for next season. Nowadays, all the seeds the farmers are getting, and thanks to Monsanto Corporation that are taking the seeds, are only good for 1 year. So they're controlling the seeds. No wonder the prices have been going slowly increasing over the last few years on veggies and fruits and so and basic groceries. All I know at the rate we're going right now, if the economy crashes, we are going to really,
which in turn controls the food.
Yeah, we're gonna. How can I say it? We are going to be adapting to a new reality that we are not used to at all in this region of the world.
Mm-hmm. What? So you've lived through this, Harry. What advice would you have for people with what's coming ahead of us here, like as far as planning, prepping?
Honestly, I would like to say one thing: shut off the mainstream media, like the psychological trash that we're receiving through this. It's almost to a point of overwhelming. Whatever news you're getting, get the big picture. My advice is to you actually learn how to be a farmer, learn how to survive. And when I mean survive, basic necessities and prepping are crucial. Knowing how to survive in a bush if you were camping for like a week with barely any food. And honestly, right now, I'd say even me having that basic instinct from what I've lived through, like the first thing that you do is get some flour, cans, rice, and oil, and have these basic things: salt, sugar, and spices.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
you can make a lot of things with those.
Yeah. So yeah, with the inflation going up, more cooking will be required now.
Yeah, a lot of these people don't know how to cook, I don't think.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who rely on takeout, man.
And even takeouts now. Oh my goodness. Like you can't get a meal for two under $70.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
That's insane. Prices are getting ridiculous.
There's a reason I'm leaving the restaurant industry, and it's not because I want to. I believe it's almost dead.
Yeah.
I just don't see.
You were doing it for a while. You were a chef.
Yeah, 7 years, man. 7 years, and I'd like to continue. I'd like to come back to it someday, but I think we've got to prioritize here for the time being.
Yeah, true enough. Talk about how quickly we had to adapt.
Right,
who would have thought 7 years ago? Who would have thought this would have happened to us here in Canada?
Man, 3 years ago, I would have doubted it. It's
but
crazy.
I'm not surprised. Remember 6 years ago when I said Trudeau was getting elected, and I said, "Fuck, we're fucked."
I do remember that. He said the exact same words, the exact same way. I think he shook his head a little more, but
yeah.
And I'll be honest, I was one of the young fools who voted for marijuana. But a month later, I was like, "What the fuck did I do?"
And
but
then
not
look at
that my one vote would have made that much of a difference. But that's how he got the vote. We all know
7 years of that, and another 3.
Another 3, thanks to Mr. Singh. Crazy, man.
Well,
crazy.
We already know. Now we know who is behind this.
It's all unfolding at a very alarming rate. Like, it's amazing to see how much of it ties
What's
together.
alarming, Jeremy, it is that the middle class is dying.
Yeah,
We are living in an age where we are separating between the middle class and the poor, but now it's becoming more of a rich and poor scenarios,
right,
and
right.
that's not good. That's not good.
Well, I was reading a thing. I think it was McLean's, and they were saying anybody making under $300,000 is going to feel this very hard. So, and we see it for sure. But the fact that they gave a number that high, like that, most people don't have a chance.
You'll be stuck working two jobs for the rest
Yeah,
of your life.
yeah,
I am
and you,
currently doing two jobs.
and you'll probably still won't be happy. Well, Klaus Schwab says we'll own nothing and we'll be happy. So,
Yeah, this digital ID.
yeah. What do you think about that?
That's a danger. That's a big no-no.
I agree, but I want to know
So
your thoughts. Like,
if this digital ID goes through, let's say you make a comment on Facebook 2 years down the road, 5 years down the road, they'll penalize you.
yeah. What do you think? Like, when you say penalize, Harry, what do you mean?
You won't have any. Your money is not going to be your money.
Yeah,
You won't be able to save anything. You'll be only basically surviving, and then government will know every transaction that you do. If you owe any taxes, you'll be paying it
yeah,
just
instantly,
like that.
instantly. There won't be a payment plan.
If you purchase something that didn't agree with the current government that's in power, then they can penalize you for that and fine you.
Yeah.
Or they will restrict you from purchasing certain things. And if you were bad, you can't even buy beer. Or,
Yeah, if you're
that's
a
how
bad
much
boy this
heading
week.
towards you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Total control. Total
yeah,
control. That's what they're doing.
yeah, yeah. I couldn't agree with you more, Harry. And I wish some more people would see that. You know, I get this feeling that people think we just want to be right when really we just want to save them as well. And it's super frustrating. It's super frustrating. I do okay with it. I'm fine, but it's I know there's a lot of people who are really struggling with that, and they don't know what to do anymore. But like, how do we get across to these people, Harry? Like, do you have any ideas?
Well, there's two ways, and we're finding that one way is not working really well. We've done our petitions and
Yes.
voting, and it seems like our voices are not being heard. Our protests are being considered as terrorist act, as we
Yeah.
know, and what the federal government is doing. So honestly, there's a couple of things you can do. You can stop paying taxes completely and dissociate with this current government. But
Mhm.
where do you run? This is global now. There's only a few places in this earth that doesn't
Yeah.
have this system. Like they're gearing towards this place
Yeah.
globally. It's a global thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be in
It's the
China
new
over
world
there. They
order.
got the social system over there. They restrict you from video games too.
Yeah, they've got it harsh, but Trudeau's already admitted that he admires that concept, and it
Yeah,
looks like we're on our way.
he's a pure dictator,
Yeah.
and I don't know who hasn't seen it yet or witnessed it. You saw what happened in European Parliament last week. I'm so glad.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I called it freedom porn. That's what I called that. That was
But
fucking great to watch.
he is so narcissistic that he will not admit to any wrongdoing.
No, he
That's a
won't.
scary part.
Yeah. He just turns it
People like
aside.
that should be in jail.
Yeah.
Mental institution, then jail.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't agree more. Well, do you have anything you want to add here, Harry, before we go? Do you have a final message for the people?
I'd say stay strong, take your vitamins, exercise,
Yeah.
eat healthy. Don't wear that stupid mask anywhere. It's useless. And shut off mainstream media
Yeah.
and learn on ways on how to become prepped
Yeah.
and ready. And God forbid, I really don't want to lead to the World War III, but if a World War III happens, nobody will be safe anywhere.
Yeah, no. This is a different type of war than what we've seen in the history books.
Mental war.
Yeah. Psychological warfare.
And also study up on criminal code and bills and how they get passed. It's very interesting how overnight things are being, and our freedoms and rights are being taken like with one stroke of a pen overnight while we're asleep.
It is. It's crazy.
It's amazing.
It's and that I try to say to people, they're like, well, where do you see this? I'm like, it's on the House of Commons website every morning. Their schedule. It's not secret. Like,
yeah.
And they still deny it. So it's just like it boggles my mind. But anyways, I really appreciate you coming on with us, Harry.
Thanks for having me, Jeremy.
Good to talk to you, man. And I'm sure everybody else enjoyed what you had to say. It's nice to hear it from somebody who's experienced it. I've been saying for 2 years, nobody wants to listen to the people who fled this stuff already. Look at Pastor Art in Calgary. Nobody wants to listen to it. They think he's a terrorist too. Yeah. All he's been doing
sad. He's been targeted now. They're constantly targeting him.
Yeah. And his family now too, not just him.
Welcome to the neo-Nazism.
Yeah.
Remember, historically, and this is historical. World War One started after the first pandemic. World War Two started after the second pandemic, and then inflation of prices and global collapse of economies. Look where we are now.
Yeah.
And it seems like nobody wants peace. This is a bit alarming.
Yeah, it's they've created a divide where the hate is strong. That's for sure.
And now, God forbid, if you're trying to voice your opinion, or if you try to comment something that's got common sense attached to it,
right,
you're instantly classified as homophobe and racist and
yeah, you name it, buddy.
Oh, you name it.
I remember.
This is my fifth time, 30-day ban for the fifth time.
I'll be my next one. Will be my fifth. We're lifers. Well, thank you very much, buddy. I love you, and I hope to see it when I head back east. I'll be stopping in Edmonton to see you for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, brother.
Catch up.
All right, man. Thank you. Love you.
You have a good night. Love you too,
buddy.
man. Stay strong. Cheers.
So there you go, guys. Somebody who has lived it, seen it, fled it. They still won't listen, a lot of them, but we're going to keep trying every day. Hopefully this makes somebody think. If you have somebody on the fence who's been questioning these things, maybe this is something they need to see. Appreciate you guys watching. I hope you all have a good night. And since we didn't do our news tonight, I wanted to keep this all about Harry. I've got wide open daytime tomorrow, so I'm going to do my Rebel News interview, and then I will be live early in the afternoon. We'll do another show. I'll announce a time in the morning, and hope you guys have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow.